Hi there. If you're concerned about transferring your wealth to your family without HMRC taking a big chunk, this is for you.
Hello there. Today we're going to talk about something incredibly important for so many families across the UK, protecting the wealth you've worked so hard for. We'll be looking at a really powerful and, crucially, HMRC-approved strategy called the legacy loan. With inheritance tax becoming a bigger issue for more people, knowing your options is absolutely vital. So let's get right to it. Now, before we dive in, I just want to mention that everything we're about to cover has been put together by the specialist tax advisors at ProTax Accountant, so you can be sure you're getting top-tier insights from genuine experts in the field. So why is this conversation so urgent? Well, it all starts with this number, 40%. That is the headline rate for inheritance tax in the UK. Just think about that. It's a figure that can take a huge bite out of the legacy you're hoping to leave behind, turning a lifetime of effort into a massive tax bill for your family. This is something that catches a lot of people out. And we're not talking about small change here. Over the next couple of decades, we're going to see what's being called the Great Wealth Transfer. We're looking at a mind-boggling £5.5 trillion moving from one generation to the next. Every single bit of that is potentially on the line, facing that 40% tax. It makes planning not just a good idea, but an absolute necessity. This all leads to what we call the inheritance trap. And it's a real and growing problem that's catching more and more families, even those who wouldn't consider themselves wealthy, completely off guard. Let's take a look at why that is. Just look at these numbers. The amount of inheritance tax HMRC is collecting has more than doubled in just 10 years. It's gone from $3.4 billion all the way up to £7.5 billion. But here's the thing. It's not because of some new aggressive tax. It's down to something much sneakier called fiscal drag. Let me show you what I mean. And here is the culprit. The tax-free threshold has been stuck at £325,000 since way back in 2009. Think about that for a second. How much have house prices, savings, and investments grown since then? Your assets have been climbing in value, but that tax-free starting line hasn't moved an inch. So without anyone changing a thing, more and more of your estate gets dragged over that line and into the 40% tax net. So the obvious thought is, okay, I'll just give my money to my kids now. And for years, that was the standard advice. But honestly, that simple approach is loaded with some pretty big risks that most people don't think about. You'll want to hear this part. Let's just break it down. The biggest problem? Once you give that money away, it is gone. You've lost all control, and more importantly, you can't get it back if your own circumstances change down the line. Then you've got the infamous 7-year rule. If you pass away within 7 years, that gift can still be hit with inheritance tax. On top of that, a simple gift gives no protection if your child gets divorced, and if you try to be clever and use a standard trust for a large sum, you could get hit with an immediate 20% tax bill right out of the gate. It's really not the simple fix it seems to be. So when you see all the pitfalls of just giving money away, you realize we need a much smarter, more modern approach. And that's exactly where the legacy loan comes in. It's a truly sophisticated and flexible strategy that's built for today's world, giving you both tax efficiency and financial peace of mind. Which brings us to the million-dollar question, right? Is it possible to pass on your wealth to the next generation, get it out of the IHT net, but without giving up control and access to your capital? Well, the answer is a resounding yes. And that is precisely what this legacy loan strategy is all about. So what on earth is a legacy loan trust? Let's make this simple. The magic word here is lend, not gift. Instead of giving money to a trust for your family, you are lending it to them. Because it's a loan, you always have the legal right to ask for your original money back. But here's the brilliant part. Any growth that money makes from investments belongs to the trust, and it's instantly, from day one, outside of your estate for inheritance tax. I love this analogy. Think of it like a safety valve. Imagine your estate is building up pressure as its value grows. The legacy loan lets you release that pressure, all that future growth, safely into the trust for your family. But you keep your hand on the main valve. You can get your original capital back whenever you need it. It's the perfect combination of control and clever tax planning. Okay, that's the big picture. But how does this actually work in practice? Let's walk through the exact steps, because the mechanics here are really important, and getting the order right is absolutely critical to making sure it all works as it should. Okay, step one, you have to create the trust. That comes first. Only after the trust legally exists do you then make an interest-free loan to it. Step 3, the trustees take that loaned money and invest it, usually in a special vehicle called an investment bond. From that exact moment, any growth on that investment belongs to your beneficiaries and is immediately protected from IHT. And of course, the final crucial step, you can ask for your loan to be repaid at any time. So here's a little pro tip. Why do they always use investment bonds for this? Well, it's because they have a unique tax treatment. There's something called the 5% rule, which lets the trustees take out up to 5% of the original investment each year with no immediate tax to pay. And guess what they use that money for? To repay your loan, bit by bit, in a very tax-efficient way. It's pretty clever stuff. Now, there are two main flavors of these bonds, onshore and offshore. Onshore is simpler, with tax handled inside the fund. But an offshore bond can be much more powerful. It gets what's called gross roll-up, which is just a fancy way of saying no UK tax is taken as it grows. That means your money can compound and grow faster, sheltering even more of your family's wealth from tax over the long run. Okay, I know what you might be thinking right about now. This sounds a bit too good to be true. Is it some dodgy loophole? Stay with me. This next point is crucial. The answer is absolutely not. This is a well-established planning strategy, and its legitimacy is actually confirmed by HMRC in their own manuals. Let's see the evidence. This quote says it all, really. It's taken directly from HMRC's own internal rulebook. It confirms that this strategy is not what they call a gift with reservation. That's a rule to stop you from giving away an asset while still benefiting from it. And why doesn't it apply here? Because you're not a beneficiary of the trust. You are a creditor. You're owed your loan back. You can't touch the growth. That single distinction is everything. And there's more. HMRC also confirms that this setup isn't subject to something called the Pre-Owned Assets Tax, or PAOT. That's another set of anti-avoidance rules. But because your relationship with the trust is simply that of a lender, PAOT doesn't apply either. It just adds another layer of certainty and shows this is a recognized way of planning. So let's just put it all side by side. With a simple gift, you're waiting 7 years for the IHT benefit, and you lose all access to your money. With the legacy loan, the benefit on the investment growth starts on day 1, and you always keep access to your original capital. The difference in terms of control, flexibility, and peace of mind is just night and day. Look, at the end of the day, this is all about making sure the legacy you've worked your whole life to build actually goes to your family in the way you want it to. And the legacy loan is just a really powerful, modern tool that helps you do exactly that. So, let's just recap those amazing benefits. 1, it freezes the value of your estate for IHT purposes. 2, you keep total access to the money you put in. 3, the tax shelter on the growth starts immediately. 4, you have huge control and flexibility. 5, it's a completely private family matter. And 6, there are no nasty upfront tax charges when you set it up. It's a win-win-win. And here's a little did you know for you. For very, very large estates, people sometimes look at something called a family investment company, or a TIC. It's a bit similar but uses a company structure. The main drawbacks, well, they cost a lot more to set up and run, and crucially, they are registered with Companies House, so all the details are on public record, which you don't get with a private loan trust. So it all comes down to this one question, really. With smart strategies like this available, are you ready to take control of your financial future, to secure your legacy, and to make sure your family is protected from that 40% inheritance trap? Now, of course, I have to say this, and it is very important. Everything we've discussed today is for general guidance. It's not a substitute for getting proper professional advice tailored to your specific situation. Tax rules can change, and everyone's circumstances are different. So if this strategy sounds like it could be the right move for you and your family, the best next step is to talk to an expert. We really do recommend getting in touch with the team at ProTax Accountant for a completely confidential chat. You can reach them on WhatsApp or by phone at 07985 689 912, or just drop them an email. And for more great insights like this, make sure you subscribe to the ProTax Accountant channel on YouTube. Thanks so much for your time.